everybody. This is Douglas Auclair. I'm known online as Joff, and I own the company Logical Graphs LLC. Today, we're going to be talking about ORCA, which is the liquidation bidding facility on the Kujira blockchain. There's a lot of questions around ORCA, so I'm going to be covering what it is, how to place bids on it, with what to place bids on it, and how I do it. So let's take a look. Before I get into ORCA itself, first of all, I started up a new wallet specifically for bidding on ORCA liquidations. So you see here, I have 800 USK, 100 Axel USDC, and 9 Atom, which is approximately $100 worth. And then I have 10 Kuji used for paying gas fees on the transactions. Okay. ORCA. ORCA is a very interesting approach that Kujira took on bidding on liquidations by allowing individual investors to bid on liquidations and do so in a way that was possible for individual investors who don't program bots. The layout of ORCA is as follows. They have a list of markets. So you can see here the assets that you can bid for when they get liquidated. And then they have a list of bid tokens that you can use to bid on liquidations. And also an important feature of ORCA is the alerts that ORCA has associated with it, so that when ORCA shows you alerts, so it's showing you that this gPAXG or gold is at risk, and it shows you how much gPAXG is at risk, $120,000. That does not mean that $120,000 of gold is going to be liquidated. It means that $120,000 of gold is at risk of liquidation, which is a useful statistic when you're used for bidding on assets, because you want to know what assets are at risk so you can bid on them, as opposed to bidding on something that's never going to be at risk, and then you're just putting your money into the protocol without it going to work for you. Okay. So they also have the bot market, which has insight into the UMI money marketplace, where you'd have to use bots to bid on liquidations. However, this protocol known as Harpoon, which was probably Kujira's first stab at the liquidation marketplace, is not working and hasn't been working for over a month. So nothing to worry about here. So whenever Kujira wants to fix the Harpoon protocol, go ahead and do that. Back to the marketplace where you can bid on. So it does say that gPAXG is at risk at approximately $120,000. Let's look at the marketplace. And so what you have here is you have insight into who's placed bids and at what premium. So if you want to place a bid in a marketplace, what you have to do is you say, okay, I have this denomination where I can place bids, usually USK. So you look for that denomination and you say, I want to bid on gold, gPAXG. So you go to that marketplace by one, making sure you have assets that you can bid with, and two, you're going to be bidding on assets that can be liquidated. All right, now the marketplace is as such. The premium shows you the layout of bids. And so if you look here, you can barely see it, but somebody has placed a bid of 19 USK at a 3% premium. That is to say that they're saying that gold is going to be liquidated and they're willing to bid 3% off the marketplace on a liquidation there. The next bid is 16,000 USK bid by various bidders at a 4% premium. They're saying that should gold be liquidated, they're willing to pay back that liquidated amount at a 4% premium, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Interesting, useful. Here, before we get into bidding, here we see when the most recent liquidations occurred. So you see here at January 8th that 6.9 gPAXG were liquidated for 13,000 USK. And that was paid out to bidders on the liquidation. And so around about a 6% premium. Great. So that shows you that today is the 12th. So 4 days ago was the most recent liquidation on gPAXG. Let's go back to the main screen. Here, you see the 7-day trailing set of liquidations. So you see that the most recent liquidation was against Atom on January the 9th, which is about 3 days ago. And hardly any Atom was liquidated for hardly any USK. The next liquidation was Luna. Almost 500 Luna were liquidated for 290 USK. Lots of information here, lots of liquidations going on in the last 7 days. How do you get a grasp of all that? You're going to go through each of these things. I don't think that's an efficient use of my time. So what I did was I created a program that iterates through all these liquidations and spits out a report that shows me what liquidations occurred in which days. So the most recent set of liquidations were on the 9th, followed by a lot of liquidations, almost $30,000 worth on the 8th, followed by about $35,000 worth on the 7th, etc. Okay, that shows you that the market was active on the 7th and the 8th. This shows you the markets and how much were liquidated in those markets. So for example, gold had 40% of the market share in ORCA. So there was a lot of gold liquidated in the last 7 days. Probably next up was ST Atom, paid with USK. Next up looks like Atom, and then followed by Luna, and then followed by Kuji. Nope, followed by ST Atom paid with Axel USDC inside Ghost. So an X preceding a token name means that this is an X token representing that this is a token lent to the Ghost marketplace. We'll touch base on that in a few moments. Okay, and then there was a bit of Kuji that was liquidated and was paid with X Atom or Atom that was in the Ghost marketplace. That's something interesting for me to see, because usually you see the bids are in USK. You see some cases where they're in Axel USDC and Ghost. You see one case of USK being in Ghost to pay for Kuji, and it's a sizable share of the market at 4.6%. But there's a little bit of liquidations going on with Kuji being liquidated and paid for in Atom deposited in Ghost. Great. Okay, let's go back here. So that report I just showed you is up on my blog. And And so all you have to do is go to my blog, which is at logicalgraphs@blogspot.com, and look for the latest Kujira ORCA liquidation report. I publish these now daily. I started publishing them yesterday. And you can see it by marketplace. You can see it by bids. So you see which has the lion's share of bids placed, USK, obviously. And then, but also actual USDC from Ghost, and then a bit more of USK from Ghost, and a bit of Atom from Ghost. And you can also see which assets were liquidated. So the lion's share of assets liquidated were gPAXG, followed by ST Atom, followed by, looks like Atom, and then Luna, and then Kuji. A little bit of Phantom liquidated. Cool. But more than that, we also have numbers of liquidations. So even though gPAXG was liquidated in the most dollar amount, there were a total of about 6 or 7 liquidations for gPAXG. Luna, there was almost 20 liquidations. Atom, there was 16 liquidations. Kuji, there were 14 liquidations. So this is useful for me to see if there's a liquidation going to occur, am I going to get a hit? And the way I look at it is the more liquidations that occur, the higher the likelihood of me getting my bid filled, if there's a higher number of liquidations. So that's something I look at. Okay, this report is freely available for you at logicalgraphs.blogspot.com. If you don't see it for the day, go ahead and ping me on Twitter at logicalgraphs and say, hey, Joff, can you publish the latest Kujira ORCA liquidation report? You can go to the raw data and do your own reportage if you want to. So this information is freely available and derived from the report that Kujira itself publishes here. The report here, I just can't digest. And so I did some machine transformations on it and then coalesced the data into reports that I could understand. So this is a nice service that Kujira provides to show you what liquidations are happening with how much and how often. Pretty cool. Okay, so given that, where would I want to place? So let's go through the mechanics of placing a bid. First, let's find out, for my sake, how much or where do I want to place a bid? So I go here. Okay, and let's look at the marketplaces. Okay, the largest number of hits are at the marketplace where you're bidding with USK against Luna. The next is USK with Atom. The next with X USK against Kuji. The next is USK with gPAXG, and the next is with Phantom, even though there wasn't a lot of Phantom that was liquidated. So let's look at so we have USK, USK, XUSK, and USK. So let's do a simple bid on Luna with USK. Let's look at that marketplace. So I search for that marketplace, Luna with USK. I go to that marketplace, and you see that there is, does it tell you how much? Yes, it does. It says that there's 88.6K of USK worth of Luna locked in collateral, and the pool size is 23K. That's to say that there's 23K of USK bids for possible liquidations. Okay, total lock collateral is 116K Luna, which is 88.6K USK. And I have no bids on this marketplace. Current market price is 75 cents per Luna, which is great for when Luna was down to 30 cents, and terrible when Luna was at $3 when I bought it. How do I place? So I have 800 USK to bid. I'm going to bid at $100, 100 USK, to get the feel of these marketplaces. When you place a bid, your money goes away. So only bid with money that you're willing to see disappear and then return to you as the liquidated asset. So one, only bid on assets that you want. If you want Luna, then you're going to bid on Luna. But if you don't want Luna, if you think if you have a bad outlook on Luna, it's not a good idea to bid on an asset that you don't like because you're trading your stable coin for something that you don't like. Bid on something that you do want. Okay. How I bid is I look at the curve of the bids and I say, okay, if I want this asset, then I want the asset more than I want the USK. That means that all these bidders here bidding $1,000, 1,000 USK up to 3,000 USK, I want to front run them and bid below them. So I'm going to put $100, 100 USK bid for Luna at 2%. So that's a 2% premium. So that means that I'm going to be basically buying Luna at price just 2% lower than that. However, the way that Orca works is when you put in your bid, you don't get the Luna right away. You get the Luna when the Luna is liquidated, either on Ghost or on Blue. Luna would get liquidated on Ghost or Blue because you've minted or you've borrowed USK against it. And the price of Luna has gone down to the point where it hits the liquidation threshold and is liquidated. That means that when you place a bid on Orca, you're automatically buying the dip of the asset that you're bidding on. So even though it's only a 2% premium that I'm bidding at, that order is going to be filled when Luna is liquidated, meaning that when it hits a lower price. So it's a 2% premium on a low price for Luna. And so if Luna dips down, it gets liquidated, I buy it, and then it goes back up, then I can sell it and therefore arbitrate both Luna and USK. That'll be a topic for another talk, but that's something to put in your back pocket for later thought. So, okay, 2%, I'm bidding 100 USK, I place my bid. I'm just going to save this transaction for now. Okay, now you see I have placed my bid, but Orca has the mechanic of when you place a bid, you have to wait 10 minutes and then you have to activate your bid, even though I have auto activate this on with Sea Shanty. This doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me. So we have to wait 10 minutes and then activate the bid. And then and then there'll be this cancel button, there'll be an activate button that appears and you press that button and then your bid gets activated. And then it's the waiting game. And the waiting game is you wait for your bid to be filled with liquidated Luna. So when that does occur, I'll create another video and we'll talk about how we can deploy that Luna that we capture when that liquidated Luna fills my bid. So a couple of takeaways on Orca. One, you have great number of marketplaces that great deal of assets that you can bid on. Bid on an asset that you want. To bid with an asset that you have. So if you have USK in hand, find the USK bidding marketplaces and bid in those marketplaces. 3, bid in a marketplace that has a good ratio of the collateral that can be liquidated versus the number of bids against it. If, for example, in some marketplaces I've seen, they have $10 worth of collateral available that can be liquidated, and they have thousands of dollars of bids, it's very unlikely that you're going to get your order fulfilled in those marketplaces. So look for a marketplace that is active and that is also has a good ratio of tokens that can be liquidated versus bids in place in the marketplace. And you do that by going to the marketplace, saying, okay, there is 3.5K of AVAX available to be bid against, and there's 1,000 USK in bids. So the ratio here is 1 to 4. Good enough for you? Sure. If that's what you want to go for. And then use the information that Kujira provides on the activity of the marketplace over the trailing 7 days by looking at the reports I provide and finding, okay, what marketplaces have bids that have been filled, and also what tokens are out there, or what marketplaces have had amounts in dollars filled. So you see gPAXG has a lot of dollar amount filled, and gPAXG, if you look on this sliding scale, has 6 or 7 liquidations fulfilled. So let's look at that. Let's look at gPAXG as another example. Go to the marketplace, look for gold. There it is at the very top. It sorted itself to the top. You see that there is 500K of gPAXG that's available to be bid against versus 175K of bids in place. There's this one bid at 19. So if I bid at that 19 level, below the other bids, save the transaction for later. You see that the transaction will be ready in 9 minutes. Then when a liquidation of gPAXG occurs, it's highly likely that my order will be filled alongside the person who also bid 19 USK for liquidation of gPAXG should a liquidation come through for a large amount of gPAXG. So remember, unlike trading, so if you were just going to buy gPAXG, you would go to Fin, you'd look up gold, and you would use, for example, USK, and you'd place a bid at like 1964 or something like that. You would say, okay, I want to buy gPAXG at this price. Here you go, and I'll place a limit order, and when the price dips down, I'll get the gPAXG. But if I bid here, 57, if I bid here and the price goes down to here, I have this much regret. On Orca, the bid is not fulfilled until the gPAXG is liquidated. It's highly unlikely gPAXG will be liquidated here. It's more likely that gPAXG will be liquidated here. So if you place the bid on Orca, your order won't be filled as quickly as if you place it on Fin, but you have a really good chance of buying that asset at a low and also then at the premium. And so your regret function on Orca is the weight, whereas your regret function on trading assets on Fin, you know, if you're bidding close to market price, is that you miss out on dips like these opportunities presented here. Okay, that's the establishing the wallet in Orca, placing a couple of bids inside Orca. In another video, we'll talk about when a liquidation bid is fulfilled, what to do from there. Thank you very much.